He made you look like a fool.
He'd had major tactical training, sir. I wasn't made aware of that.
How the hell did he get activated?
An agent in place told me he'd gone to recall. I sent a team in, but his memory implant had been blown before they could get to him. He's clearly regaining some memory fragments. I'm 15 minutes behind him.
No lethal force. I want him alive. Do you understand?
Come ahead!
This is Michael Faulkner, and it's showtime, the July 31st, 2012 edition of the Weekly Podioplex, brought to you by the Chronic Riff. Starting with the box office report, this weekend's rundown kicks off with number 10 and Moonrise Kingdom, down 1 from 9th. At number 9 is Savages, down 2 from 7th. Coming in at number 8 is Magic Mike, down 2 from 6th. And in 6th place is The Amazing Spider-Man, down 3 from 3rd. Coming in at 5th this week is Ted, down 1 from 4th as it took $7.4 million for a total of $193.6 million. In 4th place is new release Step Up Revolution, debuting with $11.7 million. That's the lowest debut of the franchise, coming in behind the 3rd film's $15.8 million from 2010. The Step Up series started in 2006 and launched Channing Tatum's career, but now stars a cast of unknown actors. They're big overseas. Step Up 3D grossed $116.9 million in the international market, accounting for roughly 73% of its worldwide gross. In 3rd place is new release The Watch, debuting with $12.8 million. That disappointing start tracks with the critical reviews. The Watch has been loathed by critics, achieving only a 14% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Moviegoers who saw the film this weekend tended to agree, lodging a C+ grade on CinemaScore. In 2nd place for the second week is Ice Age Continental Drift, adding another $13.4 million to a total of $114.9 million. In 1st this week is last week's winner, The Dark Knight Rises, adding a tepid $62.1 million to a total of $287.1 million. Its predecessor, The Dark Knight, was about $25 million ahead of this mark at the same point in 2008, but the final film in the trilogy has also been big overseas, grossing $176.1 million in 57 markets. Let's close out the box office report with a look at what was winning in years gone by. 5 years ago in 2007, The Bourne Ultimatum took number 1 with $69.3 million. The Bourne Ultimatum broke Rush Hour 2's record of $67.4 million for the highest weekend debut in August. 10 years ago in 2002, Signs took the top spot with $60.1 million. 20 years ago in 1992, Death Becomes Her won audiences with $12.1 million. 30 years ago in 1982, E.T. the Extraterrestrial kept number 1 for the second week after 9 weeks in release with $9.5 million. And 40 years ago in 1972, Fat City came in on top with $3.6 million. The box office premieres for the week of August 3rd want to take you on a trip of the imagination, and they start with Total Recall, a science fiction action film starring Colin Farrell, Bokeem Woodbine, and Bryan Cranston.
You have another nightmare?
Yeah.
Are you actually happy with how your life's turned out?
Why the hell shouldn't I be?
What do you know about this recall place?
Stay away from them. Don't mess with your mind, man.
Welcome to Recall. First time?
Tell us your fantasy. We'll give you the memory. You want to be a crime fighter, or world-class athlete, or secret agent? Yeah. Happy trails, man.
What is it? What's wrong?
Yank that needle out before it takes.
Why are you here? Oh, why? No, please! Wait.
It's all a mistake. Nobody.
Hands on your head now!
Why are you trying to kill me?
Your memory was erased. Your mind was implanted with a life you think you've lived. Oh, by the way, you haven't even begun to see me trying to kill you. I'm looking for you everywhere.
If I'm not me, then who the hell am I?
You don't have the most reliable of memories, do you?
A factory worker, Douglas Quaid, begins to suspect that he's a spy after a visit to Recall, a company that provides clients with implanted fake memories of a life they'd rather have led, goes wrong, and he finds himself on the run. Total Recall is rated PG-13. The other wide release this week is Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days, a family comedy starring Zachary Gordon, Robert Capron, and Devin Bostic.
I can't believe it's so crowded here. Maybe we should come back.
How about never? Does never sound good?
Boys, a family swim is a great way to kick off the summer.
Let's not forget, opening day is free.
That was impressive.
That's pretty high.
Are you talking to yourself?
No,
You're talking to yourself because you're scared.
I'm not scared.
Then go.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Hi, Dad.
Hey, Holly.
20th Century Fox presents Greg. Rowley.
I feel like a gangster right now.
Fregley.
What's that supposed to be?
It's a human head. And look, he's smiling.
Sherlock.
I have been ensnared by my own handiwork.
Holly.
Why don't we play doubles? Patty and me versus you two.
Patty.
Yes! I mean, sorry.
Nanny.
No!
Want to see my hands?
Sweetie. And Roderick.
When did you get a tattoo?
There's a lot of things you don't know about me, Greggy.
This summer,
In case we don't make it, something I have to tell you. One time, I went to the bathroom, and I didn't wash my hands.
One time, I used your toothbrush to get dog poop off my shoe.
What?
Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days.
School is out, and Greg is ready for the days of summer, when all of his plans go wrong. What on earth is he to do all summer? Diary of a Wimpy Kid, Dog Days is rated PG. There are 3 titles coming to limited release this week. The first is Celeste and Jesse Forever, a comedic drama starring Rashida Jones, Andy Samberg, and Elijah Wood. A divorcing couple tries to maintain their friendship while they both pursue other people. Celeste and Jesse Forever is rated R. The second title is 360, a romantic drama starring Rachel Weisz, Jude Law, and Anthony Hopkins. 360 is a dramatic thriller that weaves together the stories of an array of people from disparate social backgrounds through their intersecting relationships. 360 is rated R. And the last title this week is The Baby Makers, a comedy starring Paul Schneider, Olivia Munn, and Kevin Heffernan. After failing to get his wife pregnant, a guy recruits his pals to steal the deposit he left at a sperm bank years ago. The Baby Makers is rated R. Next up, we'll take a look at the home entertainment slate for the week of July 31st, and as always, we start out with new releases on DVD and Blu-ray, and that list has one title this week. That's LOL, a drama starring Miley Cyrus, Douglas Booth, and Ashley Greene. As a new year at school begins, Lola's heart is broken by her boyfriend. Though soon she's surprised by her best friend, promising musician Kyle, who reveals his feelings for her. LOL is rated PG-13. Moving right along to TV on DVD and Blu-ray, we have 5 titles this week. The first is Young Justice, Dangerous Secrets, an animated series from 2011 starring Jesse McCartney, Carrie Payton, and Jason Spisak. Back for another round, Robin, Superboy, Aqualad, Kid Flash, Miss Martian, and Artemis band together to rid the world of evil and prove they're not just kids anymore. Between attacks from the magical deviant and Lord of Chaos Clarion, and threats from the newly formed Injustice League, the crew has their work cut out for them as they travel the globe maintaining justice. With the possibility of a traitor within the group and the absence of the Justice League, the group turns their attention on each other, coming together and proving they have what it takes to be truly called superheroes. Next up, we have Hatfields and McCoys, a TV miniseries from 2012 starring Kevin Costner, Bill Paxton, and Tom Berenger. The Hatfield-McCoy saga centers on Devil, Ance Hatfield, and Randall McCoy. Close friends and comrades during the Civil War, they return to their neighboring homes, Hatfield in West Virginia and McCoy just across the Tug River border in Kentucky, to increasing tensions, misunderstandings, and resentments that soon exploded into all-out warfare between the families. As hostilities grew, friends, neighbors, and outside forces joined the fight, bringing the two states back to the brink of another civil war. Our third title this week is Mystery Science Theater 3000, Volume 24. Mystery Science Theater 3000 ran from 1988 to 1999 and stars Joel Hodgson and Michael J. Nelson. The cult comedy series Mystery Science Theater 3000 has always welcomed immigrant films with open arms. One can almost imagine a satellite of liberty greeting the waves of foreign films seeking a more prosperous life in America. Its inscription might well read, "Give me your tired plots, your poor acting, your muddled directors yearning to be schlock-free." It's in this spirit that Volume 24 presents 4 cinema's transplants from Russia, Italy, and 2 from Japan that simply didn't take. Thankfully, Joel, Mike, and their robot band of brothers, Tom Servo and Crow T. Robot, alleviate their and our suffering by watching these movies with a joyously irreverent stream of higher consciousness. You'll have in your hands a collection of passports to laughter. Consider them rift and stamped by those tormented souls aboard the satellite of love. Titles include Fugitive Alien, Star Force Fugitive Alien 2, The Sword and the Dragon, and Samson versus the Vampire Women. And our last two titles go hand in hand. They are Melrose Place, the 7th and final season, Volumes 1 and 2 from 1999, starring Heather Locklear, Andrew Shue, and Courtney Thorne-Smith. Melrose Place is a nighttime soap opera about the lives, careers, trials, and tribulations of a group of young people living in an apartment building in the trendy neighborhood of Melrose Place. The show is a spin-off of Beverly Hills 90210 and starred Heather Locklear as a scheming Amanda Woodward, head of her own advertising agency and owner of the apartment building. And we'll wrap up the home entertainment slate with Blu-rays from the past. This week's list fittingly starts off with Total Recall, the mind-bending edition, a sci-fi thriller from 1990 starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sharon Stone, and Michael Ironside. When a man goes for virtual vacation memories of the planet Mars, an unexpected and harrowing series of events forces him to go to the planet for real. Or does he? Total Recall is rated R. There are also 5 titles coming this week starring Marilyn Monroe. The first is Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, a musical comedy from 1953 starring Jane Russell, Marilyn Monroe, and Charles Coburn. 2 singers, best friends Lorelei Lee and Dorothy Shaw, travel to Paris pursued by a private detective hired by Lorelei's fiancé's disapproving father to keep an eye on her, a rich, enamored old man, and many other doting admirers. Gentlemen Prefer Blondes is not rated. The second title is How to Marry a Millionaire, a romantic drama from 1953 starring Marilyn Monroe, Betty Grable, and Lauren Bacall. 3 women set out to find eligible millionaires to marry, but find true love in the process. How to Marry a Millionaire is rated approved. The third title is The River of No Return, a western from 1954 starring Robert Mitchum, Marilyn Monroe, and Rory Calhoun. The greed of a reckless gambler who has won a mining claim in a poker game forces 3 people, a farmer named Matt Calder, his son, and the gambler's wife, Kay, into an adventure down the river and through the wilderness from which they may never return. River of No Return is rated approved. The next title is The 7-Year Itch, a romantic comedy from 1955 starring Marilyn Monroe, Tom Ewell, and Evelyn Keyes. When his family goes away for the summer, a so far faithful husband is tempted by a beautiful neighbor. The 7-Year Itch is unrated. And the last title this week is There's No Business Like Show Business, a comedic drama from 1954 starring Ethel Merman, Marilyn Monroe, and Donald O'Connor. Molly and Terry Donahue, plus their 3 children, are the 5 Donahues. Son Tim meets hat check girl Vicky, and the family act begins to fall apart. There's No Business Like Show Business is rated approved. The Weekly Podioplex will continue after this short message.
Master, where are we going?
We're going to DragonCon.
DragonCon?
What's DragonCon, Master?
It's a faraway place called Atlanta, where people of all sorts get together and have fun.
Is it hotter than Mordor?
Pretty close.
Will we find presses there?
Well, sort of. There's a thing called the Parsec Awards.
Parsec? What's a Parsec, Master?
It's an award given out to special podcasters.
Podcasters? They're bonzos! Make them stop, Master!
So you do know about them.
The Parsec Awards, a celebration of speculative fiction podcasting. Nominations are open April 15th to June 1st, 2012. Just go to parsecawards.com, and we hope to see you at the Parsec ceremony at DragonCon.
Master, next time, can we just fly the Eagles to Atlanta?
Sure, Smeagol, but remember, we can only afford coach.
Welcome back. Next up, we'll take a look at the new releases for Netflix streaming for the week of July 29th to August 4th. July 29th and July 30th are both empty days, with July 31st has 4 titles. The first is A Fish Called Wanda, a crime comedy from 1988 starring John Cleese, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Kevin Kline. In London, 4 very different people team up to commit armed robbery, then try to double-cross each other for the loot. A Fish Called Wanda is rated R. The next title is Platoon, a war drama from 1986 starring pre-crazy Charlie Sheen, Tom Berenger, and Willem Dafoe. A young recruit in Vietnam faces a moral crisis when he's confronted with the horrors of war and the duality of man. Platoon is rated R. The third title is All Dogs Go to Heaven 2, a family film from 1996 starring Charlie Sheen, Sheena Easton, and Dom DeLuise. Charlie and Itchy return to Earth to find Gabriel's horn, but along the way meet up with a young boy named David, who ran away from home. All Dogs Go to Heaven 2 is rated G. And the last title for July 31st is Amityville Horror 2, The Possession, a horror film from 1982 starring James Olsen, Burt Young, and Rutanya Alda. A family moves into their new home, which proves to be evil, resulting in the demonic possession of the teenage son, and only the local priest can save him. Amityville 2, The Possession is rated R. August 1st is a big day for the stream. There are 120 new titles. I've picked 5 to discuss here. The rest will be in the show notes, including several ESPN sports documentary titles. The first title is Superman 2, an action film from 1980 starring Gene Hackman, Christopher Reeve, and Margot Kidder. Superman agrees to sacrifice his powers to marry Lois, unaware that 3 Kryptonian criminals he inadvertently released are conquering the Earth. Superman 2 is rated PG. The second title is The Incredible Mr. Limpet, a family film from 1964 starring Don Knotts, Carol Cook, and Jack Weston. Meek and mild-mannered bookkeeper Henry Limpet has few passions in life. It's mid-1941, and he would love to join the Navy, but he's been rated 4F. If Henry could have one thing, it would be to become a fish. While on a visit to Coney Island, Henry falls in the water and miraculously gets his wish. Now a fish, he makes friends, Ladyfish and Krabby the Hermit Crab, and loves his new life, and he also uses his new abilities to help the U.S. Navy locate and sink Nazi U-boats. The Incredible Mr. Limpet is rated G. The third title for August 1st is Dracula, Dead and Loving It, a comedy from 1995 starring Leslie Nielsen, Mel Brooks, and Peter MacNicol. This is another spoof from the mind of Mel Brooks, and this time he's out to poke fun at the Dracula myth. Dracula, Dead and Loving It is rated PG-13. And the last 2 titles are TV series from the Sci-Fi Channel. The first is Warehouse 13 Season 3, a mystery drama series from 2011 starring Eddie McClintock, Joanne Kelly, and Saul Rubinek. After saving the life of the president in Washington, D.C., a pair of U.S. Secret Service agents are whisked away to a covert location in South Dakota that houses supernatural objects that the regents, an authority above and outside any government, have collected over the centuries. Their new assignment? Retrieve any lost objects and investigate reports of new ones. The other title is Alphas Season 1, an action drama series from 2011 starring David Strathairn, Ryan Cartwright, and Warren Christie. When a witness is inexplicably murdered in a locked room at a federal courthouse, Dr. Lee Rosen is put on the case. He leads a team of alphas, human beings with enhanced abilities due to their differences in brain structure. August 2nd has 3 titles for the stream. The first is Insecure, a crime drama from 2010 starring Cordell Moore, Essence Atkins, and Denise Boot. Insecure is a no-holds-barred thrilling drama mixed with murder, mayhem, and manipulation among affluent professionals. The film sheds light on a man's downfall from the pinnacles of success into the depths of his damaged character. His insecurities lead him into a series of troubled romantic relationships and eventually a web of events that include betrayal and murder. Insecure is rated R. The second title is The Hunter, a drama from 2011 starring Willem Dafoe, Sam Neill, and Morgana Davies. Martin, a mercenary, is sent from Europe by a mysterious biotech company to the Tasmanian wilderness on a hunt for the last Tasmanian tiger. The Hunter is rated R. And the last title for August 2nd is God Bless America, a dark crime comedy from 2011 starring Joel Murray, Tara Lynn Barr, and Mackenzie Brooks Smith. On a mission to rid society of its most repellent citizens, terminally ill Frank makes an unlikely accomplice in 16-year-old Roxy. God Bless America is rated R. August 3rd is a quiet day, but August 4th rounds out the week with 3 new titles. The first is Hit So Hard, a documentary from 2011 starring Patty Schmel, Courtney Love, and Eric Erlandson. This is a documentary that follows Hole drummer Patty Schmel as she struggles with fame and addiction. Hit So Hard is not rated. The second title is White Collar Season 3, a comedic crime drama series from 2011 starring Matt Bomer, Tim DeKay, and Willie Garson. A white-collar criminal agrees to help the FBI catch other white-collar criminals using his expertise as an arts and security thief, counterfeiter, and racketeer. The last title is Burn Notice Season 5, an action crime drama series from 2011 starring Jeffrey Donovan, Gabrielle Anwar, and Bruce Campbell. A spy recently disavowed by the U.S. government uses special ops training to help others in trouble. And now we'll wrap up this week's edition with 3 items in the Quick Flicks. On July 25th, the Parsec Awards finalist list was announced, and the Weekly Podioplex is included in the Best Speculative Fiction Fan or News Podcast General category, which includes news and commentary podcasts created by and for the fans of speculative fiction. The competition this year is pretty steep, including the Incomparable Podcast, Pod Culture, our friends at the Sci-Fi Diner Podcast, and What the Cast. Mur Lafferty, Michael R. Meningay, and Tracy Hickman founded the Parsec Awards in 2006 to celebrate speculative fiction podcasting. Podcast shows are nominated by fans, and finalists are chosen by a yearly steering committee. Those finalists are then voted on by an independent panel of judges from outside of podcasting. Awards are given in several categories, ranging from content to audio quality. The winners will be announced at the annual ceremony to be held at DragonCon in Atlanta, Georgia over Labor Day weekend. From the Oh My files, Rush Hour 4 is in development. You heard that right, Rush Hour 4 is in development. Producer Arthur Sarkeesian said, quote, I am working on Rush Hour 4 right now with Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan. I'm trying to do it closer to how I did Rush Hour 1, more down-to-earth, more gritty, introduce 2 new characters and make it real the way the first one was. I personally was not happy with the third one. I thought 1 and 2 were very good. I think 3 got out of hand a little bit. It's not a matter of just bringing them back to do another segment of that, or a sequel to it by putting them in another city and having them bicker. I don't want that. I want something new, end quote. Rumor has it this might turn out like Lethal Weapon 4. Chris Tucker and Jackie Chan are interested in returning, but they might also bring in some younger actors to keep the franchise rolling for more sequels. At this point, there's no script, and no writer, so this is a ways off. And finally, Peter Jackson confirmed that the Hobbit duology is now a trilogy. There's no confirmation of titles or release dates for the third part, but Jackson said, quote, It is only at the end of a shoot that you finally get the chance to sit down and have a look at the film you have made. Recently, Fran, Phil, and I did just this when we watched for the first time an early cut of the first movie, and a large chunk of the second. We were really pleased with the way the story was coming together, in particular the strength of the characters and the cast who have brought them to life. All of which gave rise to a simple question: do we take this chance to tell more of the tale? And the answer from our perspective as filmmakers, as fans, was an unreserved yes. We know how much of the story of Bilbo Baggins, the wizard Gandalf, the dwarves of Erebor, the rise of the Necromancer, and the Battle of Dol Guldur will remain untold if we don't take this chance. The richness of the story of The Hobbit, as well as some of the related material in the appendices of The Lord of the Rings, allows us to tell the full story of the adventures of Bilbo Baggins and the part he played in the sometimes dangerous, but at all times exciting history of Middle-earth. So without further ado, and on behalf of New Line Cinema, Warner Brothers Pictures, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, Wingnut Films, and the entire cast and crew of the Hobbit films, I'd like to announce that the 2 films will become 3. It has been an unexpected journey indeed, and in the words of Professor Tolkien himself, a tale that grew in the telling. Cheers, Peter J. Unquote. Intrepid internet investigators have noticed that a couple of domain names have been registered by the same folks who set up the sites for an unexpected journey, and there and back again. The possible titles are rumored to be The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug, and The Hobbit, Riddles in the Dark. Now, Riddles in the Dark is the title of the 5th chapter of The Hobbit, and refers to the events that are likely in the first movie, while The Desolation of Smaug refers to the lifeless wasteland charred by the burning breath of the dragon Smaug. The first chapter, The Hobbit, An Unexpected Journey, opens on December 14th. If you want to discuss anything you heard on this week's edition, please take a moment to get in touch. You can surf on over to chronicriff.com and leave a note in the forums. You can leave a voicemail at 888-866-9010, or you write to John at chronicriff.com. You can follow us on Tumblr, tweet us on Twitter, check in on the network on GetGlue, watch the classics on Funny or Die, give us a thumbs up on Stitcher Radio, and leave us a review on iTunes. You can also find the Weekly Podioplex and the Chronic Rift on Facebook and Google+. If you decide to pick up any of this week's new releases, why not do it through our Amazon store? You get the newest entertainment at Amazon's low prices and high-quality service, and each purchase you make through the store supports the Chronic Rift. Look for the link in our show notes. The Weekly Podioplex is a Lucky Shot production and is produced by John S. Drew. This is Michael Faulkner. Thanks for listening. I'll see you at the theater.
Your mind. It is the center of your life. It is everything you hear, everything you see, everything you feel. It is everything you are. How would you know if someone stole your mind?
Arrest that woman!
Quaid.
Cut.
Get ready for a surprise!
We can't let him run around. He knows too much. They've got your bug.
I got a lock. There!
And the bug's in your skull.
Take this thing out of the case and stick it up your nose. Don't worry, it's self-guiding.
Got him.
I lost him.
Welcome to Mars.
You got a lot of nerve showing your face around here.
Look who's talking.
They erased your identity and implanted a new one.
If I'm not me, who the hell am I?
He's got a hologram!
Welcome to Johnny Cab.
Drive!
Where can I take you tonight? Please fasten your seatbelt. I want Quaid delivered alive for reimplantation.
That's for making me come to Mars. You wouldn't hurt me. After all, we're married.
Consider that a divorce.
We hope you enjoyed the ride.
That's a wrap!